And so today is going to be more of a JavaScript intensive class, unlike last time where we went and did a lot of CSS and HTML. So we're trying to switch things up every week. So this week we're going to do data visualization with Plotly.js. With these skills you're going to be learning today, you're going to be learning how to collect data from real people on the web, and then using Plotly.js, visualize that data that you've collected so that you can make plots and of that data, so you can gain more visual insight of what's going on. If you just look at data at a spreadsheet, it's really hard to understand how the numbers compare to each other. And if you did a lot of research, or if you've done a lot of scientific experiments at school or on your own, you probably experienced the value of plots, in that you can really understand how how the dependent variables and the independent variables depend on each other, so you can see what the relationships are, so you can actually predict what's going to happen next. Data visualization is used very heavily in industry to gain insight about people's customers or about their products. It's also very used heavily in industry in AI, where you're wanting to be able to know what data is important to train a computer to do some work using machine learning. And data visualization is a very powerful tool to basically cut through all the garbage data, so that when you train your machine, you can give it the data that's important for it to figure out those important relationships, so you can build a computer that can solve problems on its own. So it's a very important skill. And if you don't have this skill, it's going to be very hard to use coding and use data to get ahead in your future jobs or your future career. It's just as important as like communicating in English and in words. Communicating with data is also a very important skill. And if you're using code to do that communication, you can build visualizations that no one else can really build. So understanding that and the power of code will make you a better communicator of data and such. So it might seem a little dry what we're doing, but it's very, very important and powerful skill to learn. So we're going to have two sections. First part is the survey. So if I click in in this notes, I think, I don't know if you want to send this to everyone in the group chat in case they don't have a link to the Qoom of the Week page. We're going to build two things. First thing we're going to build is a survey. Well, this is like a Google form where you can just put in a bunch of input fields and ask questions. I'm building the form to ask some random questions that I came up with, just to kind of show you how things work. But as you're building this in class, I'm going to ask you to ask your own questions. Just don't copy what I have. And so if there's something you want to know about everyone else in this class, you can ask questions to get that information from those people. All right. So, and then the second part is, after we collect all this data, I'm going to show you how to see all this data in a spreadsheet. And then we're going to take that data from a spreadsheet and we're going to make a dashboard out of it. So we're going to make something like this. We're going to make a very simple pie chart and a very simple bar chart. And then I'm going to introduce you to Plotly, where you can learn to make all sorts of more complicated plots. And we'll get into that as we go through the guide. So there's two things here, and these things don't have to go together. If you just need to collect data and put it in a spreadsheet, like a Google form, you can do that in HTML, CSS as well, and collect all the data you want and practice your web skills. Or if you've done a science experiment at school or something, or you're doing your homework where you need to plot something in Excel, well, instead of plotting in Excel, practice your coding skills and plot it in JavaScript instead, and print this out and put it part of your or you know, take a screenshot of it and put it part of your school report, so that you can use coding as part of your homework, so that instead of coding being extra work, integrate coding into your homework so that you can leverage coding in work you have to do otherwise. So coding is just another tool like Excel, or like other tools you might be using, like PowerPoint or Google Forms. Coding is just another tool, and that tool is actually more powerful than Excel or any of those other tools, because all those tools are built off of code. So in theory, you could build whatever they built as well as everything that you want to build. So for me, I learned a lot of coding just by integrating coding in my everyday process, so that I can become a better coder. So it never became extra work for me. So I just recommend that for you guys as well. And then if you're trying to build a form for your homework in biology class or chemistry class, you want to integrate it and you just don't know how, come to our Q&A sessions. I can help you and get you started so you're feeling more comfortable with that. So please don't think coding as an extra task. Think of it as another tool in your toolbox that you can use to do your homework with and prove to people how creative you are. All right, let's get started with our first exercise, the survey.html. So there's this guide you guys can use to follow along. And I'm just going to go through this guide, and you guys, if you get behind, again, you can copy and paste things to catch up, or you can slow me down by asking me questions. All right, I'll pause there. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. And I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions or you might have first before we just jump right into doing this. Okay. Yes, Oluwasun, you have your hand raised? Oluwasun? Are you muted? I don't hear you.
I'm sorry, that's a mistake.
I can't, you're breaking up. I can't hear you very well.
I said that's a mistake.
Do you want to type? Can you type your question? I just have a hard time hearing you, unfortunately, with the connection. Whoops. Do that. Oduwasan, I'm sorry. Please type in your question when you can, and I'll look at it. All right. Otherwise, I will get started. So from this workshop, like I said, you will get what you will get. I said you will get a template to create a survey. So you can customize this survey to send out anything you would use a Google form for, and a sample dashboard where you can put in your own data and create your own plots off your own data, so you can submit those plots as part of any homework you might have. And then thirdly, a list of resources and links you can go to for further self-study. Okay. So we're going to be in the HTML, we're going to be learning about the form element. In CSS, we're going to be using the flexbox heavily, so we can simply just create things that look aesthetically without having to spend too much time with CSS. And in JavaScript, we're going to be learning about how to import third-party libraries so we can build off tools that others have created, so that we don't have to build all the code ourselves to do these complicated things. And we're going to be focusing a lot on data transformation. So the data that you export from a spreadsheet isn't really easy usable by code. So we're going to learn how to convert that data so that our code can easily manipulate it. We can what's called put structure to that data, so that we can structure it in a way that our plot libraries and then can plot it. So I'm hoping to spend a lot of the good second hour showing you this. So if you haven't already, go to www.qoom.io, click the sign up button, and create your account. And we're going to jump right in, and we're going to create a survey.html file. So I'm going to go into my Qoom.space account. And if you guys create an account, you guys can jump right in. I'm going to create a folder, call it, I don't know, survey. Create, so that in my folder, I can then create all the files I want to create. So in my folder, I'm going to create my first file. And per the notes, it said, create a file called survey.html. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then you'll get a nice empty HTML page, and we can start coding. So for us to be able to know if you guys are done, can you guys send a link to your page? So I'm going to send a link to mine, so you guys have access to mine. And that way I know the name of your page. So just feel free to just paste in what you guys are doing. And once we have like a few of them in the chat, I will continue. All right, thank you. Oluwasun, can you send us the whole URL to the HTML page? All right, thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Aniva, Patricia, Chigorizim, no, Chigorim. Hope I pronounced that right. Thank you. All right, so I think we can continue. And then again, raise your hand if you're having issues. Guille is here to help you. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create this form element. Okay. And you guys can just copy that from the notes or whatnot. I'll just type it out. So in the body, I'm going to create a H1 element so I can put like a title to my survey. So I'll put Jared survey. And if you have a topic in mind, like what, feel free to give your survey a topic. Okay. And then I'm going to create a form element where I'm going to put all my questions and all the elements I need to build out my web form. So in this form, in this start tag, I'm going to add a bunch of attributes. The first one is action. This is where the where the web page will send the data when the user submits the form. So we want to send it to survey/checkout. There's an API in Qoom that will automatically take the data and put it into the database for you, so you don't have to create the database and all that stuff. So make sure I got that right. Yeah, survey checkout. The next attribute is method. We're going to send it using a post command. And the reason why we're doing it in a post command is so that we can send the data in a way that will be hidden from our internet provider. so that this with HTTPS, we're basically going to encrypt the data that user submits so that only the person who is submitting the data and the server can understand what the user submitted. So there's no chance of, so you can put sensitive information here. Not have to worry about any third party peeking into what you have. And then finally, there's this encoding type. And the encoding type is like the language we're going to send the data in. So we'll use multi-part. I think, was it multi-part / form - data. So you can copy and paste that if you need to, but this is basically how we're going to take the data and encode it so that the server can understand it. And this encoding type allows us to actually ask the user to upload images, videos, and other things. So this encoding type is the most powerful language we can send our data in. So let's just get used to using that. Okay. All right, so now we have our form, we can create our first element. So our first element we're going to be creating is, well, there's a whole bunch of elements here we can create. And I'll go through each one of these things. So after a while, we'll copy them and paste them. But for the first one, I'm going to ask for the person's gender, which is a very simple question to ask, very controversial to ask. So if you want not to ask for the gender in your form, you come up with your own question. So for my first question, I'm going to create a div here. And in this div, it's going to contain two things: a label, which is basically where I write the question that I propose to the user, like, what is your gender? Okay. And the second thing is I'm going to give them a select box to select things from. So, of course, I can have option. I can put she, or I can put like, yeah, I can put she. I can then put option he. And, you can put in other options here too. You can put option, I think there's a joke going around with Apache helicopter. So you can put Apache helicopter there. You can put in whatever you want to put there. And then if you want to put other, you can put other and such. If you don't want an Apache helicopter, you don't have to put that. Just some of my students put that as a joke. Because gender really doesn't have any meaning in a lot of people's eyes. So it's up to you how you want to put this. So you can see she, he, and other. Okay. So there we go. We have our first drop down. And we can now then ask more questions. We can ask another question. We can say, label, how many calories do you eat in a day? Okay. And in here, you can then put in another type of field. You can put input type, the number I want. So I can put an input of type number. So input is just where you want the user to type in information. And voila, I have a box here that I can type data in. So here I can type in some numbers. It gives me this little box I can increase and lower the numbers and such. and so forth. So I'm just going to copy and paste what I did before. And then I'm going to give you guys a lot of time to create your own survey. So I'm just going to copy and paste what I did before in the notes and kind of walk you through. So I have my gender. This time I did emoji. So just let you know, you can put emoji there. How many calories I eat in a day. I added some other things like a min and a max and a required. So if I don't enter anything in here, try to submit, it gives me a red box. And really what I want you to do is just, if you don't know what to do, just copy and paste it and just try to change things where they make sense. Try to add your own questions. If it just makes more sense to you, just try to do something that really challenges you and ask some questions. So I'm going to give you like 15 minutes to do this and answer your questions on the chat while you guys work on it. So Jiaming asked, could you explain why we specifically use survey checkout again? Thank you. Sure. So when you submit this data, the person who's running the survey needs to save the data somewhere. So the browser is running this code, but the data shouldn't be saved in the user's browser because the person asking this, running the survey will not be able to access that data. So what this says is basically send the data to this place where the person who created the survey can access the data. So they have a place they can go to and see everyone's responses. So this is basically send this data here so that I can see where the data is. And I'll show you that towards the end of the first hour here of how you can see the data that people submit. Xiaoming, did that make sense?
Yeah, actually that does make a lot more sense. So thank you so much for explaining. So I was also wondering if survey checkout is like something you made or if it's like a built-in format.
It's something that is part of Qoom.
Oh, okay.
To really, if you wanted to do this from scratch, you would need to create code that runs on servers. And that's outside of the scope of these workshops. So.
Oh, okay. So basically, when we create a form through Qoom, we should use survey checkout.
Correct.
But through other, say, code editors, we don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, if other code editors, depends on the code editor, you would need to send it to some sort of other API.
Would they tell you that or no?
I don't think they would. I think there is, Google Forms has an API where you can send data to. I know there is a Firebase that you can send data to. So you would need to sign up for another service to send the data to, or you would need to create your own web server to receive the data.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then just to repeat what you said, so inc type or like enc type, so that's basically allowing multiple options for the forms. Is that correct?
So it's almost. So if you don't have this encoding type, you can only send text data to the server. So things like text, like numbers and characters and things. But there's this other type way. You can actually put in an input type equals file. And what this does, once it's done saving, it will allow you to hit this browse button so you can actually add people, upload like images and things So if you're wanting to know if you say you wanted to build a form for your teacher to receive homework, and you took a screenshot of your homework, right? Then your teacher could use this form to receive screenshots of people's homeworks.
Oh, okay. So.
And yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then this encoding type, all it's doing is allowing you to send not just text, but also binary data, like pictures and files and things.
Okay. So then by the so when you say it can only send text to the server, is that like an input text box, or is it also like radio buttons and like checkboxes?
Yeah,
and, like,
you could, there's a whole slew of types here. So if I go to the notes here at the bottom, I have a link here. I meant to show you this, so thank you, Jiaoming. You can click on this link, and you can see there's a whole bunch of input items. So over on the left here. So let's see, input. Yeah. So I can click here to input, and there's tons of input types, checkbox, email, and over on the right here, you can see the different types here. So you can ask for the time of day. You can ask for your favorite color and pick a color picker here, and brings up a color picker, a checkbox. So let's say a color, right? I can go in this type here. And here, I'll send you guys a link directly to this page, so you guys don't have to figure out how I got there. And here in color, I can change type from text to color. And that would change this to a color box. So when you click it, you can choose a color.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it will send that color code to the report. So you can play with that.
Yeah, wow, I didn't realize there were like so many inputs. That's really interesting. So I would be interested in checking that out.
Okay.
But yeah, that makes more sense now. So yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much for explaining. I appreciate it.
So let me see who else have questions. Oh yeah, Alizi, could you explain the purpose of the method again? Okay, I sure can. So this method here, if I did a get, so let me change this, let me get rid of the input file because you can't do that with the post. Let's say I change this to a get. And I go over here and I fill out my survey, 12, 12, carrots, 7, red. And I submit my survey. What you can see here, ignore the 404 because it doesn't work with a get. But with the get, it sends the data embedded in the URL so that like your internet provider can see what your URLs are, and it will go into logs. So if I'm putting my social security number, it would be visible in the URL. And then whoever has access to that log can see my social security number. So it's in plain text in the URL. It's very, very scary. But if I do post, then the data doesn't get sent with the URL. And so if I refresh this again and do 12, 12, 12 and hit submit query, the data is never in the URL and it will never be sent. So I hope that explains it, Alizi. It's just really to protect yourself. Okay. Who else has questions? How do it add an emoji? So yeah, thank you, Guille. You can also just Google the emoji. Say I wanted a tornado emoji. I can put tornado emoji in the browser. And then there's this Emojipedia that you can go into, and then you can just copy and paste it from here. That's just another way you can do it. All right.
Gerald, there is another question. Under how many push-ups can you do? Why did you make the input name age?
Oh,
I
how many
think
push-ups can you do? Input, name, age. I don't know why I did that. That was bad. I should put push-ups here. Thank you. No reason. That was a typo on my part. Sorry about that. I think instead of asking age, I switch it to push-ups. Because I think age is very, very sensitive. So, and this shouldn't be classes here. This should be calories. Now, this name field is very important. If you want this data to be in a spreadsheet, as you guys know, probably has columns. And this name field is basically what you call the column. So it's like the header of the column. So if you don't have the name field, it won't appear in your spreadsheet. So make sure all your select and your input fields have a name field. Okay. Another thing I wanted to show you was this data list. So a data list allows you to put in options for the user to see when they type in their value. So when I type color here, like red, it will do IntelliSense. So anything with an R is appeared in the drop-down list. So as I type, so it's like a quick way to show lots of information. So it's better than a drop-down, because a drop-down you have to like select down. This is just through the text you can do it. So that's one cool thing about a data list. Okay.
So just to reiterate that, a data list allows the user or the person accessing the test to access the data value.
Exactly. As they type, they can see what are the available options for the user to type.
Oh, okay. So it's accessible on both ends.
Yeah. So it's like a suggestion, so that you can type whatever, you can put anything you want, but data list kind of shows you suggestions.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see, you guys. Another cool thing is this placeholder attribute. It allows you to put in information in the box. So I put like 3 to 120 here. So, but when I start typing like 5, 3 to 120 goes away. So it allows you to put in like instructions in the text box itself, kind of grayed out. So it's a cool way to put in like I put in a range here from min to max 120. So I can put like needs to be from, I can spell this out, from 3 to 120 to be more explicit. I can go over here and then, refresh. Let me refresh again. Good, save, okay. Refresh again. Not saving. Okay. Saving and save. Let me refresh again. Okay. For some reason, I'm going to refresh this to see if it was actually saving. 3 to 120. I guess for the placeholder is overwritten by the min and the max. So maybe that wasn't a really good example. But let's say I put that into here. I guess ignore the placeholder. I don't know why it's not working, guys. That should update that code. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I understood that better. All right, yeah, just keep on adding forms and keep on asking questions if you have them.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for the option, the very first question that you have up there, is there a way that we can put like a placeholder option, but it's like not something that's available to like submit? That's
Yeah.
not an option itself.
Yeah, you can do add another option, remove the value, make value like empty string or something, and then you can put in like some text here, select one. Does that make sense? And then over here, when it says select one. Is that kind of what you wanted?
Oh yeah, it's just that would, if they selected like the select one, would that be just, if it, would it show up on the data as like one of the options then, since it's an option tag? Yeah.
I'm put a required here and let's see what happens. Yeah, so you just put a required and then it will force them to.
Oh, okay.
So required means the value can't be empty. Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that.
Thank you.
Okay, Alicia asked the question, if we weren't using Qoom API, will the code be entirely different? No, the only thing that's different if you're running a different is where you send the data. This part right here is the only thing specific to Qoom. And one thing we're trying to do at Qoom is to give people a way to submit data to a database without having to create a database and without having to create the server-side code. So this is, we're thinking, is a very good feature of Qoom. Because if you're using something like Replit or something like that, you wouldn't be able to do something like this as easily. Okay. All right. What time is it? All right. I'm going to give you guys maybe 2 more minutes to create your form. At 4:45, we will then continue to the next part. And I would love to see some of the forms you created. So if you guys can send me some links in the chat, I'll take a look at those at 4:45 actually first. Okay. Yeah, you can use double quotes or single quotes. I have no idea why I use double quotes. I try to be consistent. Let me switch all those to single quotes.
Actually, well, I prefer using double quote, and probably I changed your file.
Oh, you did it. Okay. Yeah, I think.
Yes, actually, everyone has their own preferences. Yeah.
I think it's important to be consistent. So, yeah, that's. I used to always put double quotes in HTML too. Then I just become more minimalistic with life, so single quotes looks nicer to me. So just who you are. All right. All right, so I have more of a syntax and a coding question. Error tells me I have an unexpected character after attribute value in this code. Oh, yeah. So you just need to put a space after post and ink type. Oh, there is a space between those. All right. Jiaoming, can you send me a link to your code? And I'll take a look at that first.
Sure. The only thing is I haven't really done much coding. I was just kind of like typing in the format. So,
well, I do see one thing is multi-port. I think you misspelled multi-port. It should be multi-part.
Oh, okay.
But send me your code anyway. There might be another issue there that. Thank you. All right, curly whale 39. All right, let's take a look at that.
Is there such a thing as multi-port with an O, by the way?
No, there isn't.
Oh, okay.
So.
And then multi-part would just mean like there's different parts, right? Like
yeah, it's just different parts, meaning there's two parts. There's a string part and a binary part. The binary part allows you to send files, and the string part allows you to just send whatever the user entered.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So those are the two parts.
Thank you.
So to fix your issue, I just added a space right here.
That's interesting because on my screen, I think I have it half, like, half and half. So maybe it doesn't show, but like, from where I am, apparently there is a space. So yeah, but
Maybe just add another space or something. Maybe it's just your font or something.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, thank you, Jiaoming. It looks like you're getting pretty good with the form. All right. All right, I want to see someone else's code if I can. So continue to work on it if you're working on it. I really want to make sure I'm going enough, not too fast. So just showing me your code will give me a sense of how much you guys are following along. And let's just know, the reason why I gave you the boilerplate code is I just wanted to give you guys something you guys can edit and play with if you guys are beginners. So don't feel like you have to type things from scratch. I just kind of want to get you guys familiar with the different options. So Alicia's survey, what is your gender? No answer. What is your name? Perfect. Favorite rainbow color, which you just copied and pasted. All right, so Alicia, I see you have a red X here. It's just telling you need to close your form element. So feel free, after your div, just put a closing tag to your form. And I think you're pretty good we can continue. Okay, you're still working on it though. Okay, sorry. All right, I'll give you guys maybe 10 more minutes. Also, if you guys can copy and paste this last code, this 45 through 49. This first input gives you the button. And then the second two inputs are like data that you need to send to the survey. So it knows how to create that. This will name your spreadsheet. This will provide a name for the spreadsheet file. And this one will redirect the user to this page when you're done. So just make sure you have these two inputs. I can just put that in quotes here. I'll put that in. This one is there's a and I'll just put that in the notes so you guys all have that. Have my comments too if you need it. I'll give you guys to 5 o'clock. Give you ample time to work on it. And also let you know at 5 o'clock, no matter what state it is, even though it might have 2 or 3 questions in it, that's okay. You're going to need to ask your other people in this chat to submit your survey, because we're going to need to have lots of data to make a visualization out of. So, so just to let you know that you're going to build something that other people are going to use to give you the data you need to visualize with our plots. Yes, Jiami. Yep, that's the idea. I'm really trying to show you how Qoom can replace Google Forms for you, so that you have something you can build that can be useful in your homework or in whatever you're trying to do. We have a way to build your own tools to learn coding.
Oh, okay. That sounds really interesting. So then the spreadsheet, would that be like a Google spreadsheet, or is it just like a, I guess, like a web
Well, we have
generated
a
spreadsheet?
well, we have a Qoom spreadsheet, which I'm going to show you later on how to get to.
Ooh,
And
exciting.
then you can download the data in the Qoom spreadsheet, and you can move it into a Google spreadsheet or move it to Excel. So
Oh, okay.
Qoom spreadsheet is very, very simple.
Mhm.
So if you need to do anything really powerful, you would want to download it and put it into another spreadsheet tool.
Oh, okay.
Just
That's
a
cool.
basic.
So yeah, I'm actually really amazed at like how you were able to make a Qoom spreadsheet. I find that really interesting. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. So again, make sure you have this div at the bottom and just start submitting it when you're ready. You want your peers to, when you're ready to data collect. So from 5 to 5, probably 5 to 5:10, I just want everyone to start just picking like maybe 5 different forms and just submitting data from those 5 forms. And hopefully with all of us filling out 5 forms, that will give us everyone have enough information in our spreadsheet so we make a visualization out of it. So from 5 to 510, that's what we'll do. So please submit your form in about 4 minutes. And I'm okay if you just do a straight copy and paste if this was too much for you. Just try to change 1 or 2 things. So it's okay to copy and paste in the notes. I don't want this to be intimidating to you guys. Thank you, Alicia. I'm gonna take a look at yours then. I'm gonna fill out Alicia's. Okay, what is your gender? No answer. What is your name? Favorite rainbow color? Ooh, green. Submit. All right, perfect. And don't worry about the undefined. I'm sure it got sent. Okay. I'm going to look at your code to see why you got that undefined. Okay, so the reason why you got undefined was because it didn't redirect properly. So if you can add this input here, Alicia, then when people send out your survey, they will just see the survey refreshed and load. I don't think I'm gonna have time to show you how to create a thank you for submitting out our survey form. Unfortunately. But what you could do is you can create another HTML page and put in the path to that HTML page, and that HTML page can have like thank you on it, and it will redirect to it. So if you have to do that on your own, try that on your own. Okay, let me look at yours. Chigo's rim. Okay. So let me go to edit and look at your code. Chichi, I like Chichi, great. Okay. So this looks, oh, I see. I think you got these 2 switched. So the redirect URL should be this value. And the name of your spreadsheet should be this value. Did you get that okay, Chigorizum? Chigorizum? Okay, sorry if I'm killing your name. All right, let me fill out your form though. Millennial, I get 12 hours of sleep. Yes, when do you retire, graduate? 2009, let's say. You want me to try to send a form ID? Okay. Try to send, I'll send you a picture, see how well it goes. Which COVID-19 plan are you following? Hybrid? Okay, cool. So this is really like a COVID thing. All right, submit. All right, and I'm sure if you corrected this, you wouldn't get that 4.0 page, but that's okay. At least you have my input for your spreadsheet. All right. Okay, let me try Elisa's. So yeah, if you're done, start filling out forms that people are submitting. And if you don't want to see the code, just remove edit from the URL. What generation am I? I'm Gen X. I'm an old man. Social media platform do you often use? Wow. Okay, I'll say I use these 3. How many hours of sleep do you get every night? What sleep? What's a hobby you have? Building robots. Okay. Oh, you don't have a submit button here, Lizzie.
Oh, I did it just now.
Oh, you just did it now. Okay. So you copied all 3 here?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll have to fill it out again. Let me refresh. Okay, there I see it. Sleep and building robots. Submit. Perfect. And let's just leave it at the 404. Don't worry about the 404 page, guys. We can, you have it correct with the survey.html. So you got a 404 because you put your survey in a folder, like I said, at the class. So you just need to copy this and make that the whole route. And then that would go to that survey.html.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot I have a folder here. So survey. I'll fix mine too. And I'm actually going to show you, I'm going to create a thank you page, thank-you.html, just to show you what that would look like. So in here, I can just create an H1 element and put thank you. You can do this if you want. I just created a thank-you.html. So now if I go back to my survey, I'll change this to thank you. The page I just created over there. And wait till it saves. And I'm gonna select a gender, 123, 12 push-ups. My least favorite day is October 5th. And my favorite color is green. Okay. Submit. There, it says thank you. So that's how you can create a custom, thank you for submitting out my form page, and you can add CSS to make that look nice and such. How to make the box be typable, Kanya? Okay, great question, Kanya. You just need a, I'm assuming this input is how you make a box that's typable. So instead of type checkbox, you want to put type text. And type text will give you a box that you can type. So here, let me refresh this page so that you can see it. So my favorite rainbow color gives me a box that's typable because it has typed text. If I change this to like a checkbox, then it's no longer typable, but it's going to be clickable. You can see how I changed that to a checkbox. If I change that back to a text, it's typable. Okay, cool. And if you guys can, fill out my survey too, so I have a lot of data for the class. So there's my survey. Filled it in. Okay, thank you, Chigger's room. And you can't access this website. You can't access my website, Xiaomi?
Yeah, apparently not.
What do you get? What do you see?
Well, I mean, I get this like site restricted thing, so I think that might just be on my computer.
Okay. Yeah, I still can access mine. Okay. It must be your computer because it's just on the web.
I mean, I can see it on your screen just fine. Yeah, so it's probably.
I just want, try this link. Maybe I made an error when I copied and pasted it. I don't see it.
Yeah, it's still restricted for me. So I
Still
think
says
it's just.
restricted. What does it say? What do you mean restricted?
Wait, okay. It just says security threat detected and blocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it just might be my computer, but.
Because it says
Yeah.
connection secure. GA, do you see that on mine?
Let me try. So when is that issue happened? When you try to submit or when you try to open the page? Actually, I can.
When I tried to open the page.
Oh.
Security issue.
Issue? Yeah, sure. I can. Yeah, I can open that on my side.
But it's my page, right? Sometimes you get that error if you have an image that's not HTTPS. But there's no images on my site, so that's the weird thing.
That's interesting because like I just opened Kies and I was able to like fill it out, I guess, and also submit it. So yeah, that I'm not sure why, but that's really interesting.
Okay, just as long as you can fill out other people's surveys, then that's okay. Well, I see Tanya finished. Carissa, you can only do one push-up? That's not good. All right, I should reduce my minimum to 1 or 0. Okay, what is my name? Okay, Kanya's survey. My name is Jared. Oh, I have curly hair, yes. How many pets do you have? I have 5 pets, let's say. Do you like sriracha? Yes. My birthday is, I'm gonna make up a birthday. I never give anyone my birthday. So I'm gonna say I'm really old. I'm gonna say 1934, if you guys wonder. And my favorite fruit is dragon fruit. Okay, submit. Oh, it looks like on yours, Kanya, you need to change the encoding type to be without the quote. So it looks like you had a space here after data. Make sure you have no space there. Otherwise, the browser doesn't know what format to put it in. It's very picky. Adding a space here broke it. So does that make sense, Kanya? Okay, good. So once you fix that, I'll resubmit so you have my data. Okay, looks like it's still there. Okay, Kanya, do you see the space I'm talking about? Just want to delete that space. Still there, Kanya. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me know when it's done, then I'll look at it. All right, 5:10. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes to fill out surveys and submit your survey, because then we have to continue because we're going to be running out of time. And yeah, please ask any questions because I know this is pretty fast for some of you guys, and I just really want you guys I really need to know, everyone's confused, going to be confused on something else. So please ask questions. Okay, Tanya, I'm going to submit your survey again. Jared, Curly, 5 pets, like Sriracha, December 2nd, 1938, favorite fruit, grabbing fruit, submit. Okay, very good. That's normal. If you weren't able to create your own thank you page, that's okay. Data got sent. I'm trying to get survey submissions from my friends. Okay. All right, we'll wait a couple more minutes. Or 1 more minute, I guess. But you can still get the data from your friends as we do the next exercise. Because the data will the page will keep on working, so there's no worry. All right, I think we should get going. So the next thing I want to show you is how to access the spreadsheet. So eventually we're going to have a little link here where we can go to. It's not released yet, but in the next couple of weeks it should be released. So what I'm going to have you do instead is in the address bar, I want you to put in and I'll put this in the chat, survey/section. And this gives you a page where you can access your surveys. So this is mine. And you shouldn't be able to access mine because the spreadsheet should actually be hidden. But you can see the URL. Sorry, I just sent that to me. I sent it to everyone. But replace, your domain name with my domain name, and then you should see a table here. And if you click the sample button, it will open up the spreadsheet. So I have lots of entries. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes to access your spreadsheet, and I will then help you guys if you have any issues if you can't see your spreadsheet. Cool, so you got it to access Jiaming, awesome. And if you change the, in your survey, down here, if you change this value from sample to something else, it will generate a new button and put that data in another spreadsheet. So this is kind of where you name your spreadsheet. That's why, yeah, this is why it says sample, because it said sample down here. All right, Kanya, show me the URL that it couldn't find. Can you put that into the chat? And I can see what you're doing wrong. Just show me the page it couldn't find. How do you delete spreadsheets? You delete all the rows one by one right now. Like I said, it's still a beta thing. So you'll just have to manually delete all the ones one by one. But when we release this, you'll be able to delete the spreadsheet. No, actually the value is only what's used to name the spreadsheet. The name is just telling you, the name is survey. I'm calling in the code my spreadsheet a survey. So the name of my survey is sample. That's kind of what it's saying here.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you need both to name the spreadsheet. You just need to make sure name is equal to survey. This cannot change. This can change. Sample can change.
Oh, okay. So what about in the above part? So where you have name as redirect URL and value as /survey/thank you. So in that case, would the value have to be absolute? And like you can still change the name?
Yeah, you can't change the name here either. This is telling the server to send the user to this URL after you hit submit.
Oh, okay. And then both redirect URL and survey are like kind of built in?
Yeah, they're kind of built in. They're special Qoom things. So actually there's 3 things here that's special Qoom. One is this action. So this action says where to send the data. And then these 2 things tell it what to do with the data once you send it. So,
Okay.
Yeah, these 3 things are very Qoom specific.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to write the server-side code. All right, small lamb. So I think, Tanya, are you still having issues? No, I think I found it. Okay, cool. And you got it, Alicia. All right. So I'm assuming that everyone has their spreadsheet now. We need to now, let's say you wanted to download this data and put it into a Google form or a spreadsheet formula. You can go to download, and there's different things you can download it as. Today we're going to do CSV. So if I just do CSV, on a Mac, it just asks you where do you want to open it from. So I can open it up in numbers. And I just go through numbers, and then voila, I have it in my Apple spreadsheet. I don't have Excel on my computer, but I could have had it open up in Excel. You can also download it as CSV to a file. And this will save it in the downloads directory. So if I go to Finder, it's right here. I've done this a few times. That's why I added a 1. And then on Google Form, in Google Spreadsheet, I can go to File, Import, import this file in, and it will go into Google. So you can use whatever spreadsheet program you like to analyze this data. What we're going to do is